Now at 5 on WRTV, the first vaccines to be given out to residents of long-term care facilities. Why one man wants you to choose to get the shot.
I worry and I care about myself and my family. We need COVID relief so bad.
That relief may be coming, but not without a fight. Now signed into law, we go back over the timeline of the battle and see what comes next.
As long as you have optimism, you believe that it's going to be better, you can put up with anything.
And that belief can make things happen, even in the face of a pandemic that affects the way we eat, socialize, and enjoy culture. We head back to a local favorite to talk about what it takes to be open.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5, streaming now.
Good evening to you at 5 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins. Thanks for joining us. We've been seeing frontline workers get vaccinated against COVID-19 for a couple of weeks now. Tonight, we're getting a first look at how people living in long-term care facilities are finally getting their shots. WRTV's Troy Washington was at the first senior living facility in Indianapolis to administer the COVID-19 vaccine from CVS to its residents. Now, she heard firsthand what it's been like for one resident who hopes everyone will choose to get the vaccine.
I think people ought to get the shot. Absolutely. I can't understand why they would refuse.
WRTV talked with Bruce LAETSCH right before he got his COVID-19 vaccine here at Aspen Trace. He had his family in mind the entire time.
They had a big birthday party for me. And that's the only time I've seen them all together, and probably the only time I'll ever see them all together, because they came from 10 different states. That's remarkable.
He's talking about his 90th birthday, the big day he celebrated last September, more than a year ago before the pandemic hit. Now he can't even see his family in person.
They can look at me through the window in my room, but that's as close as they can get. I'd like to see them in person.
By taking this first dose of the vaccine, he's on the way to another chance at being with his family again once all of this is over. Working for you in Greenwood, Troy Washington, WRTV.
Well, they began giving doses to residents at Aspen Trace in Greenwood this morning. CVS Health gave out today's vaccines. As of Saturday morning, roughly 2 million Americans have received doses of the COVID-19 vaccine, according to the CDC's data tracker. Tonight, data from the Indiana Department of Health shows our state is going in the right direction after seeing a major rise in COVID activity this fall. The second week of December brought the most deaths per day so far in the pandemic. But as you can see, those daily numbers are now on the decline. We hit our peak in daily cases, nearly 9,000 on December 2nd. Cases overall have gone down since then, and hospitalizations also seem to be slowing down. At the end of November is when we saw the most recent peak of hospitalized coronavirus patients. You can see on the graph that those numbers have decreased as well. Things may be looking a bit better, but as you can see here from the CDC's COVID-19 tracker, Indiana sits on the worst end of the spectrum, with dark blue being more cases per 100,000 people. The negotiations gripped Capitol Hill for months. Now, after a change of heart, President Trump has signed the COVID relief package into law, despite his claims it didn't go far enough. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has more tonight.
The deal is done. President Trump signing the sweeping COVID-19 relief measure and government spending bill, securing financial aid for millions of Americans and supplemental unemployment benefits for those out of work, while narrowly avoiding a government shutdown.
I worry and I care about myself and my family. We need COVID relief so bad.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle relieved that Trump changed his mind with the stroke of a pen and agreed to the terms negotiated in Congress.
We're glad that the president finally signed the COVID relief bill.
Shortly after Democrats and Republicans originally reached a compromise, the president shocked Capitol Hill when he indicated he would not sign. Trump claimed the deal was filled with wasteful non-COVID related spending and also abruptly demanded stimulus checks be upped from $600 to $2,000.
If you want to make a $2,000 check, negotiate that from the beginning.
But the COVID relief package was pretty much an all-or-nothing proposition. Either Trump signed or Congress would have to start over. And for struggling Americans, there simply wasn't time.
It is an insult to small businesses, it's an insult to the working poor, and it's an insult to the unemployed.
Although Trump signed the bill into law despite none of his demands being met, the Democrat-led House is still trying to pass a separate initiative to boost those stimulus payments as Trump suggested. It's all but certain to fail in the Senate. Meanwhile, the House is also taking steps to override President Trump's veto of the annual defense policy bill. Since that measure passed with overwhelming bipartisan support in the House and Senate, the move by lawmakers is setting up to be the first override in Trump's presidency. As for that relief deal, many wondering when they might see those stimulus checks hit their bank account. Now, there's no set date, but Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin had suggested it would only take about a week or so for that money to start going out once the president signed off. Andrew Dimber, ABC News in Washington.
Well, it was a pretty chilly day out there compared to the seasonable weather that we've had in late fall. Storm Team meteorologist Kyle Mounts here to tell us about what we can expect tonight. It has been cold out there these past few days.
Yeah, a little chilly out there this evening, and it's going to be cold here again tonight for us, Mark. Now, yesterday we were basking with those temperatures in the 50s, but now we've had a big-time cool down, numbers that are running about 25 degrees colder than this time yesterday evening. And with those gray skies, a little bit of a breeze, certainly putting that chill in the air. It's just 28 degrees right now in Indianapolis, 31 for you in Lafayette, and upper 20s in the Bloomington area. We have been locked in those clouds throughout the day. As we look off to the north and west, we start to see the back edge of those clouds eroding a little bit, and we're not going to see any precipitation from these clouds, so they will start to clear out a little bit here as we go through the overnight. But this evening, still mostly cloudy skies. That will hold our temperatures pretty steady here in the upper 20s as we go right through about 10 and 11 o'clock. We've got some rain coming up this week. Could be a little heavy at times. We'll detail that, plus a little wintry precipitation that is in the mix. And those temperatures, we got more back and forth coming up in that 7-day planning forecast.
I'll see you in just a few minutes, Kyle. To ring in the new year this week, we're featuring some of your favorite local businesses that we've met in our We're Open Indie series this year. We've got updates and hopefully some inspiration for dinner this week. First up tonight, the hot spot that has established flavors that might not automatically make you think of Indiana, but Yat's Cajun Creole has successfully carved out a loyal set of fans over the years with big flavors. The original location opened in 2001 at 54th and College, but Yat's has since expanded to include a dozen locations across Indiana, Ohio, and Tennessee. Owner Joe Vuskovic says that for the most part, his business was fortunate and stayed healthy. Online ordering, curbside pickup, and nice summer weather for outdoor seating all helped business in 2020. And shutdowns from the beginning of the pandemic have been lifted.
Well, originally we had to close 5 of the locations, but we've since then reopened Nashville, Tennessee, and Greenwood, so that's been good. We were lucky. I mean, part of it thanks to you. You know, we got a lot of positive response from being on WRTV, and it was great for us.
And to be transparent here, that is the goal of WRTV's We're Open efforts, to shine a light on businesses so you've got them front of mind the next time you need something. Many local business owners like Joe do what they do because they care about people. He says he looks forward to the success of the COVID-19 vaccines so everyone can come together again to enjoy food, art, and music.
He said, we just get through this. It'll be good again. I have faith and optimistic all the time that things are going to be better. And as long as you have optimism, you believe that it's going to be better, you can put up with anything. That's part of the beauty of doing this. When you see people are happy, or you see them, or you see them if they're unhappy, you can fix what's wrong.
Yat's is mostly Cajun Creole, but Joe admits he doesn't discriminate when it comes to good flavors. Dishes like their red beans and rice and chili cheese etouffee are Joe's family classics. But for example, he got his white chili recipe from his wife, who's from Wisconsin. You can find our full feature on Yat's, including a link to all of their locations around the area at WRTV.com/open. For 10 months now, businesses across Indiana has faced unbelievable obstacles as they try to survive the pandemic. And just like Yat's, many of them still have been able to find success. They're not giving up easily. finding innovative ways to bring in business and harnessing their strength to stay open. Join us this week for our encore special, Inside the COVID Crisis, We're Open. Catch Yats and other favorites at 5 p.m. on New Year's Day right here on WRTV. And if you'd like some inspiration on dining and shopping local anytime, check out WRTV on your streaming device like Roku or the Amazon Fire Stick. We have a whole shelf of We're Open content, including our special in full or portioned out by business. To put it on, if you're looking for somewhere to try out new in central Indiana, it's a good place to go. A stunning explosion made all the stranger by events just before the blast. Still ahead on WRTV, 6 Nashville officers step forward to share the memories that led up to that moment. And right now, medical debt may be worse than ever for some families. We're going to show you how a couple of local doctors are working to ease the burden and help people get back on the rebound. Kyle.
We have carved out some cold territory here across central Indiana and really the Midwest for now, but it won't last. We've got temperatures back in the 50s in your 7-day planning forecast when that will arrive. You're watching WRTV News at 5.
Only at Mattress Firm.
Investigators are still looking at any and all possible motives into the Christmas Day Nashville explosion after identifying the bomber. That suspect was found dead after his recreational vehicle exploded early Christmas morning in the city's downtown area. The blast injured at least 8 people and damaged more than 40 buildings, including an AT&T transmission facility that provides wireless service to pretty much the region there. Police had responded to the scene early Friday morning after reports of gunshots. An RV then broadcast a computerized female voice repeating that a bomb would explode. Officers then went door to door to evacuate neighbors, likely saving many from serious injury or death. Once it did explode, those officers ran toward the danger to see if anyone else needed help. And there were a lot of things that could have gone wrong that morning that didn't because of a strong team in place. Hannah McDonald gives us a closer look at what those moments felt like after 6 officers opened up about that experience.
You know, the sound of the announcement saying, primary objective is to evacuate. Evacuate now. Something that weird. You don't get stuff like that.
As a chilling message blared from an RV parked in downtown Nashville Christmas morning, 6 Metro police officers cautiously walked toward the sound.
For me, it felt weird, all of the cop lingo that you hear about the spider senses, about the hair standing up the back of your neck, all that went through my body.
At a press conference Sunday, standing shoulder to shoulder, 5 of the responding officers shared in remarkable detail how they evacuated buildings on 2nd Avenue and experienced the bombing together.
And I just saw orange and then him, and I saw him stumble, and I felt it. I felt the heat, the wave, and I don't know how I kept my footing, but I kind of blinked and I couldn't see him for a second, and I just lost it, and I just took off in a sprint towards him. And like he said, I've never grabbed somebody so hard in my life.
The explosion caused Officer James Wells to suffer hearing loss in his left ear. It could have been worse, he says, without divine intervention.
This might not be politically correct, but this is my truth. I literally hear God tell me to turn around and go check on Topping, who was by herself down on Broadway. And as I turned around, for me, it felt like I only took 3 steps. And then the music stopped, and as I'm walking back toward Topping now, I just see orange, and then I hear a loud boom. And as I'm stumbling, because it rocked me that hard, I started stumbling, I just tell myself to stay on your feet, stay alive.
Then Officers Wells, Amanda Topping, Tyler Llewellyn, Michael Sipos, Brenna Hosey, and Sergeant Timothy Miller rushed toward the flames.
I made a phone call to a loved one to let them know that I was okay. And then I ran to the intersection to check on Miller and Llewellyn to make sure they were okay.
And I was so scared that I just lost my entire detail because I didn't know where they were. I just saw them pass by it.
The officers, who may have shared the same shift and frequently worked the same scenes in the past, now share this nightmarish experience.
I don't know for what reason the gentleman or female, whoever it was that actually did this, gave the notice. I'm just grateful that we actually had time to try and help people clear out.
Of course, this is going to tie us together for forever, for the rest of life. And so just you know, the love for them is even bigger now, and Christmas will never be the same for any of us. Love you.
We hope to see a little bit of sunshine across central Indiana today, but those clouds just hanging in there pretty tough. I do think they start to break apart as we go into tonight and tomorrow. We'll see some brighter skies as we start off our Tuesday. Right now, though, a chilly 28 feels even colder. 18 is the wind chill, so you need those layers again today as we've got a northwest breeze between about 10 and 15 miles per hour. Wind should relax here a little bit as we go into tonight, but numbers out there this evening mostly in the 20s. We've got 30, though, for you in Columbus and Bedford, and 31 right now in Lafayette, while you sit at 26 in Richmond. Tonight, into the upper teens to around 20 degrees, so a chilly day. And then once we pull that blanket of cloud cover away, temperatures will be dropping here overnight, about 21 in the city and 23 in Bloomington. So we will see a little bit of sunshine, a little brighter start to our day tomorrow. Temperatures, though, still on the chilly side. 30 degrees here at 11 a.m. Lunchtime temperature 32. I don't think it's going to be as breezy tomorrow, but look, as we get into our Tuesday afternoon, back into those clouds. So we're not going to see the sun for very long, and that's going to once again put a lid on afternoon temperatures, only into about the middle 30s for an afternoon high, but that is pretty seasonal here for the latter part of December. 35 for your high temperature tomorrow in Kokomo, about 36 in Anderson. As we look along I-70, middle to upper 30s, close to 40 degrees for you in the Shelbyville area, Brazil at 36, and right about 40 in Seymour. As we check out TrueCast, this is tomorrow morning at 9:30, and you can see that we have those clouds building back into the area. We get into the early afternoon, we may see an isolated snow shower that moves into northwestern communities here throughout the day, but I'm not expecting any accumulation with that. We do have some better chances at what looks like mainly rain for us coming up here a couple days over that 7-day forecast. Put it all together for you now. 49 on Wednesday, so temperatures will rise again with widespread rain. They drop on Thursday, a little break in the activity, and then New Year's Day looking pretty soggy. Rain and 53, seasonably cool heading into the upcoming weekend. Mark?
Kyle, thank you. The Rebound Indiana is showing you how people are stepping up to help Hoosier families in need and where you can get help if your family is struggling to make ends meet. We know many people struggle to pay off their medical debt. WRTV's Lauren Casey spoke with 2 local doctors working to ease that burden.
The average person and family who have a high deductible plan, which is the average Hoosier, the out-of-pocket expenses and deductibles are approaching or probably even over $10,000 a year.
$10,000 a year is a big deal for any family, even middle and working class Hoosiers.
Making choices about whether to go to the grocery store, put gas in your car so you can go to work, and paying your health care bill.
Dr. Jeffrey Meltzer and his wife Lee have delivered thousands of babies over the course of their careers right here in central Indiana. And in those roles, they not only see the joy a new baby brings to the world, but they also see the struggles of families to pay their hospital bills.
I saw the devastating effects of illness and healthcare bills on patient families.
Medical debt is something that follows many Hoosiers, and the COVID-19 pandemic has only heightened our awareness of this issue.
You know, with healthcare being tied to people's jobs, and if you think about all the people in the service industry who are not working, just routine healthcare becomes a major problem for the average person.
And so the Meltzers wanted to do something about this. Dr. Meltzer tells me he took a leave of absence from his work as an OBGYN, and with his wife, they founded the Indiana Health Fund. The Indiana Health Fund was incorporated the week of the shutdowns back in March 2020. Since then, they've been fundraising to pay off medical debt for struggling Hoosier families.
And the really cool